Order. There's been notification of news media, and I see the Marlboro Herald is here. Mr. Branch, would you please have an invocation?
Yeah, let us pray. Lord, we come to you tonight asking your blessings on our students, staff, parents, community. Lord, we thank you for your protection that you placed over us in our lives. Lord, we ask you thanks for keeping our kids safe, Lord. Lord, please be with us tonight as we make sound decisions, Lord. Lord, most of all, just ask you draw us nearer to you, Lord. Lord, I ask all these things in your name. Amen.
Thank you. Under new business, we need election of Board of Education officers, the vice chair, and the secretary.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to nominate Mr. Goff for vice chair.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, please raise your right hand. One, were you voting or holding your cell phone up?
I'm sorry.
Were you voting or holding your cell phone up?
I'm voting.
Okay, all right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And all opposed? Which way are you going?
Neither. I abstain.
Okay, all right, the motion's carried.
Madam
And-
Chairman, before we go forward, I would like to thank Mr. Branch for his service as Vice Chairman and also Mr.
Absolutely.
Goff for his service as Secretary. Just like to put that in this last year.
And next, I need a motion for secretary.
I'd like to nominate Mr. Woods.
Is there a second?
A second.
All in favor, please raise your right hand.
I'm sorry. Who did you nominate?
Mr. Woods.
Oh,
All in favor, please raise your right hand and hold them up so we can count. All right, the motion's not carried. Now, what are you doing?
I'm in favor.
Huh?
I'm in favor.
Okay, all right, still the motion's not carried. Okay, would someone make another motion?
I'd like to nominate Ms. Onasia, please.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, please raise your right hand.
Vote for yourself. I don't know.
Oh, vote for yourself, it's all right. And the motion's carried. Thank you very much. And thank you, Mr. Goff, for your service last year as secretary. All right, there is no technology award tonight. And next we have the ACT Aspire Maximum Scale Scores. Ms. Battle.
Good evening. As I'm filling in for Ms. Tweed, was there an approval of the minutes from the agenda? If it
We haven't
wasn't,
gotten there yet.
No, we passed it. I'm trying to keep things right, filling in. And I want to know if I missed it.
I'm so sorry. We do need to have approval of the agenda. Would someone make a motion to approve the agenda?
Madam Chairman, excuse me. I move that we accept the agenda as submitted.
All right. Is there a second?
No second.
All in favor, please raise your right hand. All right. And that's carried unanimously. I thought you were talking about approval of the minutes, Ms. Battle. I'm sorry.
Okay. Tonight we present to you our students with ACT Aspire maximum scale scores. A maximum scale score does not necessarily mean that the student answered all items correctly on the assessment. We have two students who achieved a maximum scale score. They are Madison Parker, if you would please come forward with your parents, who is currently a 6th grader at Marlboro School of Discovery. Madison received the maximum scale score in writing when she was in the 5th grade at Bennettsville Intermediate School. Her writing teacher was Mr. Greg Steele. So if we could have the principal of Bennettsville Intermediate School, School of Discovery, and Mr. Steele, if he's here, to come forward.
Ms. Battle, do we clap now?
Yes. Thank you. I'm busy multitasking.
That's ours.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Our second student is Janiyah Townsend, who is currently a 6th grader at Marlboro School of Discovery. Janiyah also received the maximum scale score in writing as a 5th grader at Bennettsville Intermediate School. Her writing teacher was Miss Ava Kane. Her principal, teacher, parents, if you would come forward also. Congratulations.
Thank you, Ms. Battle. Congratulations to you, young ladies. Next, we have the Cleanliness Award, Dr. Cobb. And you're filling in for Dr. Cobb, right?
Obviously.
Obviously.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tonight we have two tied winners for the monthly Cleanliness Award. They go to the Matheson Street Annex and the School of Discovery.
All right.
What did y'all do?
Oh, we clean up also.
Representing her building.
Oh, okay. I thought you two had become part of the custodial staff.
Well, we are too.
All right, next we need approval of minutes for December 7th and December 21st, 2015. Is there a motion?
I make a motion we approve the minutes for December 12th and December 21st, 2015.
Second.
All in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion's carried unanimously. Individuals or groups who wish to appear before the board. Mr. Timothy McNeil, and he wants to discuss the PCAs for children with special needs. Welcome, Mr. McNeil.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, board members, superintendent, members of the public. Thanks for the opportunity to speak. Just want to come back and bring to you, I spoke about the concerns with Kelly Services, I think in September, and it haven't gotten any better for us parents with children with special needs. The system they're using to provide fill-ins for the permanent shadows just not working. In the month of November, they sent a mail to shadow my 10-year-old daughter and has since sent mails to shadow female students with autism. Luckily, the school called it. So I'm asking the board tonight to please take some actions. Let's stop putting our children in danger. I suggest that the district immediately bring the permanent PCAs under district hires, hire and train a pool to serve as fill-ins for them. Without local control, we don't know who might come work with our child. And I know if any of you had a little girl with autism, you wouldn't want a male working with them. So any attention y'all can give us on that, any help, we definitely appreciate it. Thank you.
Ms. Bright.
Was not that one of the concerns that was on the paper that we submitted to County
Right.
Services
Right.
before?
Yes, and I just want you to know that that has been addressed. We have representatives from Kelly Service here. Matter of fact, the same day that they occurred, two of the representatives came to the district that day to make sure that when they call for personal assistance for students with any type of disability, that they make sure that they match. If it's a female, they'll send a female. If it's a male, they'll send a male. But whoever's calling within the school has to tell them that we need a assistant for a female, or we need an assistant for a male. And the representatives are here, but the same day that that occurred, they came right over and addressed it. I talked with them personally here at the high school.
Okay, so all of our principals and whoever is calling for the services now know?
Yes, they
Make
do.
sure that- Okay, so can I ask Mr. McNeil
Sure, go ahead.
a question? Mr. McNeil? Okay, so is that a continuing problem for you, or has that just happened that particular time that you brought it up before?
Once with my child, happened again with another child, female, family friend, and it's been occurrences that nobody has even showed up to shout at the children. So it's been missed opportunities to try to fix it, and it just hasn't gotten any better. These kids deserve better than that. And with local control, we can make sure that someone's taking care of those kids.
Okay, thank you.
Can you put that on the agenda for the next meeting?
Kelly Services is on the agenda tonight.
No, I mean that specific
specific.
problem. Ms. Fleming.
Well, I think it's I'm sorry.
When you're talking about children with autism, this is not something that we need to put off. Many times children with autism cannot communicate. Who knows how many times this has happened? If this has happened one time, it's too much, and this is very disturbing for me to hear, Mr. McNeil, about your child and any other child, because if any of us know a little bit about autistic children, they cannot communicate, they do not communicate, and we just do not want this school district to take a chance that this has happened one time is too much. Now, I don't know where the breakdown is, but that is a problem, and I appreciate you bringing it to this board's attention and the public's attention, because we need to be concerned about this issue. And I don't think putting it off the next month is going to solve it, because it could be an ongoing thing, and children not being able to tell what's happening.
Ms. Bright?
Yeah, I just think that they are working on that, and I think that maybe we have some communication problems. So if everybody knows if the principal knows and the person that's calling knows, I think we just need to reinforce that so we won't have those issues.
I think we should have something on the next agenda that's a report from Dr. Tiller stating what's gone on and what's in place, so that the parents are more comfortable about this.
Well, one thing I can share tonight, Ms. Parsons, since we're on the topic, is that all the information that we gathered regarding concerns and where some communication problems existed, we shared that with the principals at the principals meeting. The principal is the one who gave us the feedback, and I think probably who you need to hear from would be the principals regarding if they're incurring any other problems since then. But it was addressed. The principals are the ones who gave us the information. Kelly Services has worked on that, and I can gather feedback from principals once again to see if things are going better for them or if there's some problems. I have not received anything from principals to say that they're having problems with Kelly Services, and I'm looking at them as I speak, and if they have some, I'm pretty sure that they would send it to me in their weekly update, but I haven't received any.
All right. And next, Ms. Chalmers.
Good evening, board members and public. I am a parent of a School of Discovery student from the McCall area who back in October of 2015 was dropped off at McCall Elementary School from the School of Discovery when McCall was on intercession and there was no one there to pick her up. She was just dropped off with the rest of the McCall students, and if it had not been for one of her classmates having a cell phone for her to call my mother, she would have been stuck there without a ride. And I believe this is a situation that needs to be addressed because this is a potentially dangerous situation. We know what kind of world we're living in now. And I think this is something that needs to be addressed when McCall is on intercession, something that can be done for the School of Discovery students out of the McCall area. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. You got that? Okay. All right. Okay. And next, individual board member items, continued discussion regarding Kelly Services. Mr. Coachman.
Yes, on the last board meeting, we had shared a lot of the concerns that we had coming from substitute teachers and some assistants. And since that time, I've been in discussion with Kelly Services and also with Amy Tisdale and with the principal. And I also talked with principals from other schools. Don't seem like we're having many problems from the middle school areas, but all the concerns mostly have been coming from the high school. I think that we have addressed them, but I think that we need to continue to address and to get with the concerns of the employees so that we can make sure that we take care of our employees, whether they're substitute, whether assistants, they still need to be taken care of. Ms. Amy has assured me of that. Now this new concern we hear here tonight from Mr. McNeil, I saw him come once before. I was hoping that will be taken care of, and that is very grave and very serious. So we definitely need to take care of that immediately. We're so far into the school year. I know we need to continue right now, but I thank Kelly Service for what you've done. But I think through conversation, we can improve the situation what we're in, and continue to work with the principal at the high school so that we can get all these things under control. So that's all the discussion I have on it. If anybody else want to comment on it.
Anyone else want to be recognized, Ms. Nation?
Just a quick comment. I too was concerned, and I have spoken to Kelly Services. They called me, Amy, and several others. I appreciate that very much. And as Mr. Coachman has said, they reassured me on several issues. One issue I was very concerned about had to do with PCAs and compensation. As I understand it, now correct me if I'm misstating it, I believe that Kelly Services was told by the district that they would only allow 7.5 hours service. And some of our PCAs last year had 8 hours of service. I was trying to be specific when they called and asked me about it because initially the comments had been generalized. So I have asked them to go back to the district and discuss that with them. That makes a difference in terms of income right off the top if you're dealing with 7.5 hours a day as opposed to 8. So that is just something I want to bring up that they're going to deal with as well. And I think the PCA situation is the biggest area of concern. And I just want to reiterate, you all have assured me there will be male to male and female to female. So.
And I think that one thing that we need to keep in mind too is the reason why the district went with Kelly Services or any service from the beginning is because of the federal law. And so to make sure that the district is in compliance with the federal law, and where we're employing part-time people, that we don't turn that part-time into a full-time, because if you do and you're not paying all the benefits and things that go with it, then we're going to be penalized. I think it starts at $1 million. $1.2 million. That's the first penalty the district would receive. So that was one of the reasons that the initial purpose for going with the service, because that service, they have the staff and personnel to track that more than we do. In our finance department, we have 7 people, and it's hard for them to track that on a daily basis, but that's one of the services that Kelly is providing.
Anything else? All right, policy IJOC-R, school volunteers for possible revisions. Mr. Goff.
The purchasing policy, I didn't ask to have that one added for this meeting or not?
The purchasing policy, I just brought that because of the recommendations you were making, Mr. Goff. Okay. I have forwarded your recommendations regarding local preference to legal, and so I just brought the policy so the board would have both.
If I can just mention that one real quick, everybody did get a copy of it. Our policy, DJR, which deals with purchasing, we currently don't have a local vendor preference, which is pretty much set up by most municipalities. I know the county has one in place as well. That allows for us to spend, the tax dollars that we collect back in Marlboro County in situations where it's at all, fiscally practical. I have the sheet with the recommendations that I would make has been provided. And we can talk about that specifically at the next meeting, because I would like to amend that policy. And it's a sliding scale, which mimics exactly what the county currently has for local vendors. can go up to 10% on bids less than $10,000, can go down to as low as 2% with a cap of $10,000 on any bid. We can, if we could add that, again, this is my recommendation. If the board would like to, make any adjustments to it at that time, at least we have the information of what I would suggest, and then we can move forward with that at the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay. And in regards to a policy,
Just want to second that, Mr. Goff. This was a concern of ours that we wanted to do something for local vendors, and this is certainly a plan, and we can go lower or higher, whatever we want to do, but this is a good suggestion.
So this serves as the announcement this month that next month we're going to start a 2-reading process.
Correct.
To get this done.
Correct.
So we'll be sure that's in the minutes.
I was just going to
If
clarify that.
the board's in agreement.
Yeah, right.
We just received this tonight, and I think that, I guess if we do it next month, it'll be fine, but I am having, we'll make a decision, and then like we did with Kelly Services, which I was not in favor of in the beginning, but we realized it's causing some problems. I'm sure we'll work through it. Now, if we go back with the purchase, and just because they had a problem and adjust that, and it's going to cause some problems, I think we just need to study things a little bit more. I keep saying we need workshops, and we do. We definitely need to work. We understand why we got Kelly Services here. We know the $1 million that it would cost us if we caught, but if something happens to a child, it costs $1 million too. $1 million or more if something happens to a child. So in making decisions, I don't want to see us flip-flopping every time something comes up that someone's concerned about. Let us walk through it and make sure we're doing the right thing in terms of Kelly Services and in terms of purchasing, and even with the volunteers. Just don't do it on emotions. Let's do it as a board that really is trying to protect the children as well as the taxpayers and do the right thing here, because I'm just...
We just have to notify people that we're going to amend the policy.
Maybe we need to, I understand that, Ms. Parsons, but what I'm saying is we need to, I always think we need to understand why are we amending it. Is it something that's going to be beneficial in the long run and in the short term? That's what I'm saying, that, and I don't know.
That can be sorted out before any motion's made or that kind of thing, but we just have to put people on notice that we're going to be looking at that to do it. Mr. Goff?
Yeah. And real quick, like I said, this is my suggestion. We can talk about it if the district has any input as far as what the fiscal implications would be. If we can look back at the last, I think Mr. Toole is pretty familiar with those things. If we could look back at the last couple of years and see what that would cost us. Like I said, what I'm trying to do is to try and keep as many of our local dollars as we can local.
Exactly.
And have it be fiscally responsible. Exactly. Because like I said, we all understand that we may be able to buy something a little bit cheaper off of Amazon, but if we can go into Gifts and More, one of these places, and buy that same item for $1 more, then we're putting that dollar directly back into the community.
Absolutely.
It impacts our 1 cent sales tax. So that's my reason for it. I actually brought it up a couple of years ago and didn't move forward with it as far as policy is concerned. And that's why, again, that's why I want us to come back, discuss it, let the district have their input on it. This would give you time if you wanted to, speak with any of the other council members, county council, city council, see how they operate theirs. That would give us an opportunity to do that. So I'm just putting it out there for the next meeting.
I understand, and I just think that I know why this came up, and it was probably it was fine, but then something came up. Now we want to amend it, and I want to make sure we amending it for the right reason, and it's going to be something, because if something comes the other way, we'll amend it back, and that is, I'm just putting my concerns out there.
And I think that our concern is, can we afford it? And that would be something we'd be looking for the district to help us with, to know what kinds of costs that would entail for us, because we know our budget is pretty tight. We're getting ready to do the budget situation. But we do want to reward our local folks as much as we can, and don't forget the sales tax comes to us, all of that, which I believe Robert just brought up. So we certainly want to acknowledge that. This issue has been before the board, but action has not been taken previously.
Well, I'd just like to share for the record that when it's an amount that we don't have to take bids on. We always give local preference. I know that this past summer we spent over $200,000 just buying supplies, and I know those were bought locally. So we are doing that. The only thing I would like to say about this is whether the policy is amended or not, that's the board's decision. And of course, we'll adhere to whatever however the board amends the policy. However, I think what's more important is to get legal to advise us on this so we can make sure that we stay within the South Carolina procurement laws.
All right, let's move on from this issue because we can't accomplish anything tonight anyway. All right, are there items that board members want to have in the February meeting?
Yes.
Mr. Woods.
I still got something.
When I first got on the board, in our very first meeting, we talked about maybe avenues of, I would like to put on the agenda for maybe looking at another person to represent us as our district attorney. I want to discuss that again.
Okay, Mr. Goff?
Well, I just have policy IJOC-R, which is the one that's actually on the agenda for discussion. That was brought up. We have had some issues with clarity as far as the background process and what people are needed to indicate. The policy itself don't have an issue with, but our Marlboro County volunteer application form currently says, have you ever been convicted of a crime, misdemeanor, or felony? It says yes or no. If yes, please explain. What I would ask that we do is include an asterisk that just says this does not include traffic offenses. We have back here that we use a sled check is what's indicated on our district form. I really don't take exception with whether we're using SLED or whether we're using some agency that accesses SLED at a better fee. That's really not a concern for me. But what I do have a concern with is asking people to say, even if if you've been convicted of a traffic offense, then you need to include that. That needs to be precluded. We have enough people on staff that can.
Have we already done the month's notice?
We have, yes. That's why this is on here. This is on here for, yes, this is on here because I want to make a motion to revise.
Go right ahead, make the motion.
So I would simply ask that we amend the school district of Marlboro County volunteer application form to include a caveat that when asking if they have been convicted of a crime, that does not include traffic offenses.
Is there a second?
I got a question.
Can I clarify something first? Even if we put that on that form, when we do the SLED check and when we do the federal check, it's going to identify, as far as the law is concerned, a traffic ticket is a crime if you receive it if you're speeding. And so the point I'm making is, even if we put it that way on our sheet, which we don't have a problem, but when we send that other information through the system is still going to flag them.
Madam Chair, if I could, if I may redact that, since obviously there's still going to be some confusion, I would amend the policy to say that we use the SLED check, which is the form that's required by state law, which is a form that comes directly from the state law enforcement division, to be utilized, and also to include the caveat that it does not include traffic offenses. I have never seen a SLED background check that comes from the state law enforcement division that shows traffic offenses. I've never seen that. I think the service that they're using was sending that back, and they were not making a distinction between traffic offenses, and we had volunteers who were being told that they could not volunteer because they didn't indicate on the form that they had been convicted of a traffic offense. Traffic and misdemeanors are completely separate instances, and if the background service we're using can't fix that, then I say we go back to the SLED check where that's not going to be an issue.
Is there a second?
I'll second that. I'll second it so we can discuss it, get it on the floor.
let me remind everybody, y'all are wanting to just jump in tonight. We'll never get out of here if you keep doing that. But it's appropriate, first of all, to get a motion on the floor and a second, and then we have discussion, not arguing and discussion prior to ever having a motion. So now we have a motion and a second. And Mr. Woods is asked to be recognized, and Ms. Bright has asked to be recognized. So would you begin the discussion, Mr.
Yes, my question is this. I understand what Mr. Goff saying about the policy, but my question is to Dr. Tiller. Have we ever stopped anybody from going on volunteer for trips if they have a traffic ticket?
Yes and no. And let me tell you why I say yes and no. In the past, when that has happened and it's been flagged, they've received a letter that said, hey, there was a violation, you need to come and fill out another form.
Right.
So because it was a violation.
Okay.
And I understand what Mr. Goff is saying about just run the sled check, but we have a lot of people that move into our area and apply to work with our kids, and maybe they haven't been living in South Carolina. SLED's not gonna grab what they've done in other states. But the federal, it does not. That's the reason we were advised to go with SLED and a federal check, because the federal check is nationwide, and that's the reason we do both. That's the only reason. So again, we have put things in place. We've talked to principals about the fact that if someone has a traffic violation or a seatbelt violation or something of that nature, just to put it on the sheet to let us know up front. And because we want people to come and volunteer, but at the same time, just like we've conducted some checks lately, and we had stuff to come back, like people with, for example, inappropriate behavior with children. We got that from the federal. So again, I don't think we should, I think the board should consider not doing away with either one, but whatever we need to do so we do not discourage anyone who wants to come, because we want our parents and we want everyone to come and help us with our students. But at the same time, we have the responsibility as district administration to do diligence to make sure that these people are okay to serve.
So we are doing SLED and a federal check now?
We do both.
You do both, and we're
Just
paying for both?
For the record,
Okay.
SLED accesses NCIC. That's the National Crime Information Center. SLED does not access a state database. SLED accesses NCIC. So when you do a SLED background check, it is doing an exhaustive research of the background of an individual. It does not check the national. And I mean, I would be, if we need to consult, which is insane because I was a police officer for 8.5 years, and a certified NCIC operator for the state of North Carolina when I was in the Air Force, if we need to have a person come in to tell us that there is not a different state law asked for a SLED background check, that's state law. If the state law didn't determine whether or not a person had been convicted of a crime in North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, or Oregon, they wouldn't put in state law to use a SLED background check. Our form says a SLED check has been completed because it accesses all of that. I saw a police officer off duty out here with his daughter earlier. I don't know if he left or not. He may have, but I assure you that I would not do anything to jeopardize our children. That's not my issue. My issue is if I've never been convicted of a crime and I want to volunteer with the Marlboro County School District and I have to jump through hoops and come back and fill out another form because I didn't say that I got a speeding ticket in 1998. And that was the incident that occurred. An individual got a speeding ticket in 1998. If we can't discern, and we don't have people who are qualified to discern when they get a background check that somebody got a speeding ticket in 1998 and they were not convicted of a crime, then I don't have any choice but to amend the policy so that it removes any doubt in how we go through this process. All I'm asking for is for common sense. And if somebody gets told that they can't volunteer for a speeding ticket, then obviously we have not done that. That's my issue.
Ms. Bright?
I don't agree to take off SLED or any pertinent information on this application. If we want to ask them about traffic violations, do they have any traffic violations? Because it's going to show up, then that's fine. I wouldn't change this application over no traffic violation.
Oh, I'm not asking that we change it. I'm asking that we adhere to what's on the form and use the SLED background check as state law requires. That's what I'm asking for.
Okay, but that's what the problem is. They used the SLED, they kicked the person out because they had a traffic
No,
violation.
ma'am, that's not the case. The secondary company that they're using is sending back all violations to include. It doesn't have anything to do with a SLED background check. It's the secondary service that they're using that said that Johnny got convicted of a seatbelt ticket 25 years ago, and therefore our district said they can't look at it and say, yeah, that was a speeding ticket, you're good. They said, no, you can't be a volunteer with the Marlboro County School District. And this happened to 2 volunteers that contacted me in
Did they tell them
McCall.
no, or did they tell them to come and redo the application?
The form says, have you been convicted of a felony or a misdemeanor? A traffic offense is neither of those, and I assure you that a seatbelt does not fall under those terms.
Did the district tell them they couldn't hire them or to come back and do another application?
They were told that they could not. I was contacted by the individuals themselves once they had been denied and told that they were not going to be able to perform. One was actually a coach who's been working with the school district for probably the last 5 years, who was told 2 days before the county championship game that he could no longer serve in any capacity with the school district because he got a traffic ticket in 1998 for a seatbelt violation.
And when Dr. Tiller found out about it, Dr. Tiller called him and told him that it was a misunderstanding, and he did coach and all went well. Again, when you say that we have a contract with another system, we're here to protect the school board and the district.
And it's better to be safe and work out.
And in other words, that's the reason, and we're only following how we've been advised at the state level as far as personnel and human resources is concerned, to use those 2 different systems. You got to check thoroughly before we let anyone come and work with students. So that's what it's all about, just trying to make sure that we check thoroughly. And Ms. Parsons, I'm just trying to share with them, with everyone, why you have those 2 systems.
And this will be a.
I was just letting you know.
Yeah, Madam Chair, this will be a first reading, and if we can get viable information from any law enforcement source that says there's a difference between a SLED background check and a secondary background check service, then I will be more than happy to withdraw this at the next meeting.
I'm offended, Mr. Goff, that you would think that the staff would go out and spend money and to have an agency come for something that we should not be doing.
I would have thought that a seatbelt ticket would not cause a person to not be able to volunteer with a school district, but that didn't happen.
But some things are rectifiable.
Hold on a second.
It's better to be safe and rectify something than not to be safe, and drop the ball.
Read the state law.
I would rather keep what we have in place, and when the issue comes, to fix it. It's just as simple as that. Come do okay, you have the traffic violation, let's fix it.
Now, 2 people have asked to be recognized, and various people have jumped in. Try and control yourselves and raise a hand and give me an opportunity to recognize you so that we stay orderly here. Mr. Branch.
Okay, it's my understanding that when they answer no to the question, have you been convicted of a crime? And if they've got a seatbelt violation or a speeding ticket, that they get kicked out. Am I correct?
Correct.
Okay. Why don't we just amend this application to add another question that says, do you have any minor violations such as seatbelt, speeding tickets? And then if they answer yes, then that'll flag it.
But that's what I've been saying, that we've already instructed principals and the staff, the front office staff, to do that. We've already done that.
Well, where's the revised application?
We've already done that. We've already had that meeting. We've had that discussion.
So there's a new application?
I don't know if there's a new application, but we've already said on the application, if you have a speeding ticket or something of that nature, just write it down. So we'll know up front. That's the only thing it is. We've already done that.
Mr. Coachman?
I think Mr. Branch hit on what I was going to say, but my thing is just tell the truth when you're applying for it, and we all use common sense. I don't think it needs to be a policy. Once we find out somebody has a seatbelt ticket, And it's simple to just move on and let them do the job. I think that Dr. Tiller said that's what she's doing now. She spoke to the principal about it. I don't see what the big deal is. I think it's being addressed and taken care of.
All right, let's call for the question, unless someone else had.
I'm sorry, I don't want to keep going. I just want to underscore that Mr. Branch's suggestion, as Mr. Coachman has said, just put another thing on the application, however you want to phrase it. Do you
want to
have
put
any
that
of the
in the form
minor
of an
infractions? Mr. Goff, do you have an objection to an amendment?
That's what I initially proposed, and
All right.
so yeah, if we
One of
can,
y'all
if we
make
can go
an
that route.
amendment, and we'll.
I'd like to make a motion that an
Amendment.
amendment to the original question to state that if you have any traffic violations, please list them. Or
Sir.
do you have any traffic violations?
Second.
Is there, okay, second. All right, any other discussion before we vote? Oh, sorry, Ms. Fleming.
I normally come to the new employee orientation, and we have people from all over the world coming here to teach our children, all over the United States. I think the farthest in the U.S. was Iowa somewhere, and then of course we had some from out of the country. I want people to volunteer, but I want our children to be safe. Now, if we got people coming from all over the world, we have a lot of great Indian teachers here, and a lot of great people from the Middle East and Africa. Hopefully they are good people. SLED is not going to pick that up. Now, we're trying to keep our children safe. If we want volunteers, but we want our children safe. If we got something that's working pretty well, is working, and a traffic violation can sometimes mean reckless homicide, and you could have killed somebody because you was driving drunk. So, I mean, let's just don't change things because of emotions. Let us study these issues.
Homicides, traffic violation.
Well, a traffic violation could be running a stoplight, not stopping for a school bus. So we have to just we want to do the right thing and the safe thing. We got a national person that can track these, maybe go a little bit more than SLED, because we do have people from out of the country that's here dealing with our children on a daily basis.
All right, Dr. Tiller?
I just like to, if the board members will look with me under the school volunteer information I gave you, we did change that the first time, and I knew we did. I had to find it. If you look, the second page, it says checklist for volunteers, and we give it to everybody who comes who wants to volunteer. In the paragraph, it says all of the above items should be attached to your volunteer application and submit to Ms. Geraldine Bethay, because she takes the applications at the district office. Your name and school name should be written on the application. If any form that is listed on the checklist above is not attached to your volunteer application, it will be sent back to you. Then when you look down in the next paragraph, it says, to further assist you with your volunteer application, please provide at the bottom any traffic violations or misdemeanors you have been charged with in the past. The reason this request is being made is because our background checking service will capture this information. When this happens, it may appear that proper information was not provided at the time of your application. So we've already put that in writing, and everybody gets it when they come. And I thought when we talked about this in November, and the board said put something in, we did. And so I thought that the board had already looked at that, but the volunteers get the whole packet when they come in. So if that, I hope that will address it. If not, then we'll go back, Mr. Goff, if there's something else that the board would like for us to do.
I think that sums it up.
Yep.
There's a motion and a second on the floor. I haven't withdrawn it.
All right, let's call for the question. First, let's vote on the amendment. We do have a second for that, don't we?
Yes.
Okay. All in favor, at least of I mean, even if it's in there, of keeping that so that it has to be in there. All in favor of the amendment, please raise your right hand. One, was that an up?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the amendment is carried. Are you not voting for the amendment?
No, I am not.
Oh, okay, all right. And now for the motion.
Can you state the motion again?
I knew you were going to ask me.
Well, I would just like to,
Mr. Goff, would you state the motion again?
The original motion was that we use the SLED background check as required by state law for volunteers, and that there be a caveat added to the actual form, to the school district volunteer application that says does not include traffic offenses where they are being asked if they have been convicted of a crime, a misdemeanor or felony.
All right, everybody ready for the question? All right, all in, okay, all right, Mr. Driggers.
But isn't that what we just did? We put the amendment in so they can do that?
Right.
I'm lost here just a little bit. I know I'm slow.
I
But
can't
anyway.
imagine why you'd be lost.
But I think we just did that with the amendment.
You did, well, you did away with the first part of it, but not
You have
that,
to
not that
vote
we
for the
use the
amendment
SLED,
first.
but not that we use the mandatory state law required SLED background check. That was the initial part of it.
So you repeat what you just said for me. You want
That
me-
we use the SLED background check as required by South Carolina state law for people who are seeking to be volunteers with the Marlboro County School District.
That's what the motion is.
That's the motion.
have
Because
discussion?
because the second part was amended out.
I just need some clarification on what I was
Sure.
fixing to
All right.
speak
All right, all in favor of the original motion?
I got a question.
Yeah.
All right, Ms. Bright?
So are you saying we're not using SLED?
No, I'm saying that, I'm not saying that we use SLED and not use a secondary service that's going to draw in things that are not required by state law. Go research the law. I mean, I'm not giving you anything.
So I just asked
Yeah.
a simple question, okay?
The state
So
law.
this says SLED check completed. So Dr. Tiller, when we use the SLED check, is it outsourced or something? Do we get the information from
We
SLED?
use two checks. We use SLED and we use the BIB, the Bureau of Investigation, the National. We do both.
Okay,
We do both.
so you only want one done? That was your question?
Because my assertion is that the SLED background check uses the National Crime Information Center, and that's where all backgrounds are accessed from. It's pointless to use two of them, and it creates issues that have not, in my opinion, been adequately addressed. But if everybody else doesn't have an issue with it, and we want to keep not having volunteers, then everybody can vote against it, and we can
I
move
don't have
forward.
an issue with it.
All right, all in favor of the original motion, please raise your right hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the motion's carried. All opposed? 1, 2, 3, 4. And so the motion is carried. Thank you all very much. And Mr. Woods, the new attorney, Mr. Goff, Ms. Nation, what would you like on the February agenda? Or do you know yet?
I don't know yet.
Okay. Mr. Branch, is there anything you want?
I was going to say the same thing, Mr. Woods. I was going to mention about the
Okay,
attorney.
all right. Mr. Driggers?
You just skipped over me?
No, I'm going down that way. No
You
offense,
went
ma'am.
that way.
Oh, my God. All right, Ms. Bright.
I have something, but it wouldn't be appropriate to say it right now.
All right,
I'm not legally alert.
okay. Who if I skip? Mr. Coachman?
Yeah. How about a little unity, a little love? Can you add that to the agenda?
Short supply thing.
I second that.
All right, can we move on?
It ain't gonna happen.
All right, Administrative Services, Dr. Howell. We need to vote on a cosmetology trip to Atlanta, Georgia. One for the Wallace Middle School Junior Beta Club trip to Myrtle Beach. And can we vote on those together?
Yes, this administration so recommends.
Madam Chairman, I move to approve these field trips as the administration recommends.
Is there a second?
I second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion's carried unanimously. Thank you. And then school updates,
We've asked Mr. Tim Brown to come and share with you current school updates.
or school projects updates, sorry.
Good evening, Madam Chairman, board members, Dr. Tiller. I was asked to give a quick report on the new Wallace Elementary Middle School. Thompson Turner, the general contractor, is working on the punch list that was provided by Jumper Carter Cease at this time. The final inspection for the kitchen by the Department of Health and Environmental Control is scheduled for tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Once we receive the A rating from DHEC, I will forward to the Office of School Facilities, and a certificate of occupancy will be issued. And this will be a temporary certificate of occupancy for the simple reason is the old school has not been removed yet. So we have to move the children into the new school before we can tear the old one down. Once that's down, the roads and parking lot at the front will be completed and the ball fields completed at the rear of the building. So everything will be external from the building inside will be complete. Then we'll get the final certificate of occupancy. But and all the technology, the new technology has been installed. It was a part of the district's responsibility, and the district will have to move the existing servers to the new school and install the new computers. But all the wiring and all the infrastructure is in place. So that's where we stand with the Wallace School. Are there any quick questions?
Yes.
Mr. Coachman.
Mr. Brandt, based on the information given about the certificate and the kitchen being approved, and what date are we looking at for a possible move-in date in the community of Wallace?
Well, that's
close the estimate that you can give.
Well, that's strictly up to the district. I don't know the logistics of what Dr. Tiller.
We're ready anytime once they give us the clearance to move. Our teachers, we've already been packing and cleaning out, and we already have our crews ready to go. We had them ready to go over the Christmas holiday, but when I talked to Joel Carter, Mr. Carter said that they had those things on the punch list that they had to do, and we didn't want to start moving anything in and disturbing anything that they were doing. So as soon as he gives us the green light, Mr. Coachman, we'll be ready.
Okay, appreciate it.
Question.
One other thing, Mr. Brown. One other thing, Mr. Brown. The ball fields, they started working on it some. I know we've been having some bad weather, so we're looking at maybe a couple months down the road before those will be complete.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll be working it jointly with the demolition and working on those ball fields. Yes, sir.
Ms. Fleming.
On the demolition of the school, will the children be there when it actually happens?
Yes, ma'am. They'll be in the new building.
We have a security fence.
Okay.
Right.
Yes, ma'am. There's a fence that's separating both schools now.
Okay.
That was built because of the construction to protect the children wouldn't get into the construction area.
Okay.
And that same fence will be, in place, and we'll then take it down. And you'll be surprised, it'll go down pretty fast.
Okay.
Once we start it. It's 90% air anyway.
They won't get any work done that day. The children will watch.
Well, they cheered when the tree limbs came down, so I'm sure they have a bigger time with this. The next project is I'm reporting on the high school concession and stand and press box. The project is substantially complete at this time, and an inspection is scheduled for Wednesday of this week by ECS. They did the Chapter 1 and Chapter 17 inspections, which were required by the Office of School Facilities for all the mechanical, electric, and plumbing. And once that's completed, any corrections will be made, and then the Office of School Facilities will be contacted for a final inspection. And we anticipate that to be in a relatively short time, depend on the OSF schedule, but I don't think it'll be too long. And then the district will need to determine the graphics it would like to place on the facade. And I don't know if the committee wants to do that or the coach and Dr. Tiller. I don't know how you want to do that, but the contractor would like to know about any graphics like the logo.
Dr. Boyd and I, we've already discussed that, so Dr. Boyd would.
We'll just check with him.
Yes.
Thank you. And then the next project was the Blenheim ball fields. The engineer has developed a plan for the fields, and it was approved by the committee. And a topographical survey of the fields has now been performed, and I have a copy of it here. And the next step is to design the grading plan. The engineer should complete this phase by the end of the month, and once the committee reviews and approves the plan, it will be presented to the school board.
That's great news. Blenheim's waited a long time to hear that.
And Mr. Drigger's left for it to give him the good news. Is there any question on any of those?
One quick question.
Mr. Goff.
The second floor of the press box has been finished and they gotten that secured?
The floor has not been put in, the VCT tile, because the ceiling has got to be left open until after the ECS inspection. So they have to look at all the wiring above ceiling, and that hasn't been performed yet. They're going to have ladders in there to put the ceiling up, so that it won't take a day to put the floor down, but they didn't want them scarred up with ladders. So that was the reason. But everything else has been complete. They still have some touch-up painting, and painting half the door black and half the door yellow. We have some streaks, or gold, excuse me.
Is that going to be ready for baseball season? It's going to be ready for baseball season?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Was that all?
Do want to thank the Wallace faculty and staff for their patience in loading up and putting things on hold while we're trying to get these last steps done. I know that's been interesting for them and the children. So you think the punch list, when they get DHEC in there for the kitchen, that's going to be it, right?
DHEC for the kitchen will be tomorrow.
Right.
And I'm
hoping
99% sure. I've been over 3 times with them, so I think we have it right now.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Oh, it's driving me crazy. All right. Next, we have presentation by Derek Stubbs and Stiff, the annual financial audit for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2015. Welcome.
Thank you. Madam Chair, Dr. Terrell, ladies and gentlemen of the board, thank you for allowing me to make this presentation of the report. My name is Tim Monahan. I'm a partner with the firm of Derek Stubbs and Stiff in Columbia. I will make this as brief as possible. I'd like to start off by going over the financial report, which is the thicker report. And just to start off, I would like to have you turn to page 1. And that is our audit opinion. And this is the opinion that we give for every audit. And I am pleased to report that we gave the district an unmodified opinion for the year ended June 30th, 2015. There was one item of note just to point out in the opinion is we have an emphasis of matter, because during the year June 30th, 2015, the district adopted the implementation of Governmental Accounting Standards Board Opinion number 68, which had a significant impact on the financial statements for the year, which I'll get to as I move forward. Following the opinion is management's discussion and an analysis, which I won't go over, but it is you should read that in conjunction with the report and the financial statements. This is prepared by management. Moving on to page 11, this is the statement of net position. And as you can see in governmental activities, the statement of net position is a negative $18 million at June 30th, 2015, and that is a result of the implementation of recording the Standards Board Opinion 68, which was the district took its share of the pension liability, which is recorded here at $42 million. All districts in the state did it, not only districts, but other other entities that were part of the state pension fund. So that's one thing to point out there. On the following page, on page 12, is we call the statement of activities, and you can see this shows the statement of You can see that the change in net position was a negative $78,000. This for governmental funds before the GASB 68, we call it GASB 68 adjustment, which brought it down to $18 million. The following page is page 13, which is the fund statements. This is what's typically reviewed by the district management. This is how governments normally review their financials, and you can see that the net governmental funds position was a positive $21 million as of June 30th, and that's you can see that on page 13 as total fund balances. The reconciliation below shows the reconciliation of the 21 million to the 18 million, which I just discussed previously, and you can see that all the items that make that difference up. And then you can see also on page 14, if you turn to page 14, governmental fund had a decrease of a net $8.1 million, and that was largely as a result of capital projects that were implemented. So the notes follow that, but I will not go into the notes in detail. You can just read those at your as you review the report. And any questions, feel free to contact me or Wes, and he can get you in touch with me. One other item in this report, if you go to page 70, this is what is called the report over internal control over financial reporting. And we are also happy to note that we noted no significant deficiencies or material weaknesses in financial reporting for the district. So that's a positive note there. The following opinion on page 71 is the compliance over financial federal programs. And I would like to also note that we tested certain financial programs that the district has, and we noted no instances of non-compliance with any of the federal programs. And on page 73, you can see that the federal programs that the district had during the year, which total $7.1 million. And on page 75 lists the programs that we tested this year, which were the Teachers Incentive Fund and Food Service Fund. So that finishes the review of the financial report. The next item is if there's no questions on that.
I do have one question.
Okay.
Ms. Owenation.
On page 3, you list that the district's total net position as of June 30th, 2015 was a deficit of $14,113,299. That's on page 3, second paragraph.
Okay.
And then you mentioned that the deficit was 18 million something. Are we talking about apples and oranges, or what are we dealing with there? The district's total net position as of June 30th was a deficit of 14 million. And then it references the GASB statement. And it was just a different number.
Yeah.
Like by 4 million. I just thought that was interesting.
Page 11.
Yeah.
See, that takes into account business activity.
Yeah, that's what that is.
What is it?
That's food service, business activities, and that's that down to 14
You were
million.
worried for a minute, though, weren't you?
Yeah, I was a little. I said,
Mr. Coach.
Bottom line is, we have a clean audit.
Right.
Ain't nobody taking no money, and we in good
Nobody's
standing.
taking any money. that we know.
We just found 4 million.
Yeah.
Everything good.
Everything good.
Thank you.
Okay. And then just this final report, this is a report that we're required to issue to the board every year for every audit. And this is, I would like to just say in this report, it basically says that we had no disagreements with management. We noted no unusual items. We had no material adjustments. and the audit went well, and I would like to conclude by thanking Dr. Tiller, Wes, and their staff for an excellent audit this year. Everybody cooperated fully, and it went really good. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, next we need to have adoption of the budget calendar fiscal year 2016-17, and we need a vote.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Tiller, you have before you the budget calendar and information included in there. My recommendation is to approve the fiscal year 2016-17 budget calendar as attached.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
All right. And what is it?
I'll make a motion that we accept the calendar.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Second.
Is there a second? All right.
Second.
Any discussion? If not, all in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay. And it's carried unanimously. That was easy, wasn't it?
Thank you. You have included in your board packet the financial statement as of December 16th, 2015. If there's any, to receive that as information. If there's any questions, I'll be glad to address those.
Any questions? All right.
Okay.
Good. Thank you.
And, well, we've got a couple more things. I've got no changes with the Wallace project update. And you have that information included in your packet.
I got one question for that.
Mr. Coachman?
Yes, sir.
We only have a little money left, a little something left, we can move up to other projects in the county.
We'll see exactly what we've got left at the end of this. So, there again,
Thank you,
we
Mr.
do not
Coachman.
have
We're looking for the
final billing.
intermediate school next.
Other projects in the county need a little something, so.
And lastly, I have the procurement policy, the discussion that came up earlier.
Right.
That was included in the, in your packet. And the subject matter here is authorization to direct staff to revise procurement policy to include local vendor exception or preference. The school district of Marlboro County has no preference, local preference for county merchants, vendors, and contractors. For requests for bids for services and goods in excess of $2,500, local vendors have no advantage. So we're required to take the low bidder, the low purchase item. District must award to the lowest responsible bidder to comply with purchasing procurement policy. District benefits from having local merchants, vendors, and contractors who provide goods and services to the district. The convenience as well as the additional assurances of having someone within the district providing those goods and services is an advantage to the district. Local vendors collect sales tax and pay property taxes, which provide local revenues for the school district. The district's penny sales tax, as collected by local vendors, provide revenues to pay for facilities such as the new Wallace Elementary Middle School. On a local basis, the County of Marlboro allows a 5% bid preference up to a maximum of $50,000 for, except for activities utilizing state and federal funds. City of Bennettsville allows a 10% bid preference up to $500 for supplies, materials, and equipment, and 10% preference for a maximum of $5,000 for contractor or professional services. I'm sorry, I was not aware of Mr. Goff's communication, so I've included in this what I thought was kind of blending the two, the county and the city. I'm proposing a revision to procurement policy to provide for a 5% bid preference for up to a maximum $2,500 for goods and services excluding activities utilizing state and federal funds. And my recommendation here is just to authorize the staff to make proposed revision to procurement policy and bring forth the prescribed changes next month for first reading. And if there's any
Do we
revision
need
to
to
that.
vote on that?
You would in order
Yeah,
for the action to go forward.
All right,
was gonna
Mr.
say-
Goff, would you like to, I'm sorry, Ms. Oden.
I was just going to make that motion.
Okay, fine, go ahead.
That we authorize the staff to make proposed revision to the procurement code and bring it, the prescribed changes next week, with the caveat that we look at Mr. Goff's recommendation as well as yours to determine if there is some middle ground there.
Yeah, and I'll second.
All right, all in favor, please raise your right hand. And the motion's, whoops, all opposed?
Not voted.
All right, so there's one abstention. Ms. Bright's abstaining, but the motion's carried. Thank you, Mr. Park. Human Resources, Dr. Cobb. Kelly Services.
Madam Chair, board members, we have included in your packet again information concerning Kelly Services as information only, which includes pros, cons, and advantages for the school district that we obtained from principals and other staff members who were involved with Kelly. And if there are any questions, we do have management here from Kelly who is prepared to answer any questions that you may have at this time.
Have we straightened out the issue on autistic children or others who the PCAs are, that we have men to men and women to women? Is that straight, Mr. HR?
We will make sure that is, yes.
And the issue about whether we're paying them for 7.5 hours or 8 hours, this is the PCAs. Will you and Kelly Services get that worked out?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it going to be 7.5 or 8?
Yeah.
Let me state that our rate of pay is based on a 7.5-hour day, and it is $55, and that equates to $7.33 per hour. And I think one of the issues is in the past we've just paid for full days rather than a fraction, and I think that's one of the things that we're going to have some communication about, and I think maybe we can bring a recommendation to the board whether or not we adjust that rate of pay up so that those individuals are making at least $55. That might be one of the discussions that we have, or some type of rounding convention where they are rounded up, whether that's an additional half hour or hour, whatever that might be. So I think that's one of the things we're going to have some future discussion about. So,
Mr. Goff?
Is the issue in the communication between maybe the people who were contacting Kelly Services for a sub or a shadow are not aware of what the IEPs are and what the special considerations may be for them?
I don't think
let me address that. First of all, we can't discuss with them the IEPs of the children. We can discuss whether it's a primary age child, middle, high, whether it's male or female. Those are the things that we usually share.
So what are we doing actually to make sure that we have the right people that are being brought in?
The folks who
from
call
Kelly
in, for example, at the high school, Ms. Smith would call Kelly Services if they need a personal assistant for a child, and then they will let the Kelly Service rep know whether this is a female student or a male student. And then then they know what to send, whether to send a female or a male.
the other thing, Mr. Goff, is the PCAs are vetted by the Exceptional Children's Department before they are even sent to Kelly.
That's what I want to ask. I thought that was occurring. So it is not occurring, or it is occurring?
It is occurring.
And that has been going on since the beginning of the school
Yes.
year?
Yes,
And we
Ms.
still
Anita
have these-
Brown, she works
Yes.
with Kelly Service. She's our director of exceptional ed, and they work together.
So how did we even have this problem to start with?
That I don't know.
And I'm not putting this on you, but I'm saying, obviously, and there are still some complaints, but I can't get the definitive dates, so clean it up. That's all we're saying. Appreciate it.
What exactly is the complaint, Ms. Nisha?
It has to do, again, with the gender of the folks that are serving. And I think that has to be coming...
And that we've addressed.
And that has to be coming from the source here at the high school to them. And their qualifications have been questioned too, not just by the parent who's here tonight, but by others. So if that's being handled, I want to be sure it is being handled. As Ms. Nanny said,
I addressed
autistic...
it. I addressed it. Stand up, ladies. I addressed it with these two ladies a month ago. It was in December. I talked with them right at this high school about that. So I just want you all to know that they already know that that was an issue and they were addressing it. I have.
All right, Kelly Services, you ready to take charge and make sure it's right?
Yes, ma'am. This is,
Yes, ma'am.
if something would happen to one of ours, Ms. Parsons, may I?
Yeah, go ahead.
If something would happen to one of our children in special services, the fallout would be just, and I don't know whether you're taking this serious, but it is serious, because we would have every agency in the country on us because we did not meet the needs of a child that has autism or whatever their situation is. And I know that, and I read your data. I read the pros and cons. I know you are in other areas. All of our children deserve the best, but the children that have special needs, it's got to be a priority. We cannot mess up not one time. We don't want to mess up one time because we do not want organizations coming in questioning what we've done, that we've made a mistake. If that is not something we just can't, I'm not willing to leave that to chance. So however you're doing it, if you messed up once, don't do that again. Because don't do that again. That's plain and simply.
I just want to get some clarity on what we was talking about the hourly pay.
Rate of pay.
The district was paying before Kelly said $8 an hour. Now they're getting like $7.
No, the district was paying a full day's pay.
I'm sorry, 8 hours.
8 hours, right.
No, 7.5 hours.
Okay.
7.5, and that's times 7.33.
That's what the district was paying?
That's what the district was paying, but we did not utilize a time clock system. So we paid for a full day, even though it might have been
what you consider full
less, 7.5 hours.
They were paying 8 hours instead of 7.5.
No, it was 7.5. So it was less than
7.5 hours.
Yes.
And they're getting paid the same thing now through Kelly Service for 7.5 hours.
They are getting, as long as they work the full 7.5 hours. Now, if they work less than 7.5 hours, that's where the problem is.
But it's at the same rate of pay?
Same rate of pay, same hourly rate of pay. Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Well, we are going to work together to try to help them out.
Try to resolve that differential where they're where they're working less than 7.5 hours. I think that's where the problem is.
Thank you.
Dr. Tiller, Superintendent's report.
Ms. Parsons, ladies and gentlemen, and members of the board, good evening once again. I'd like to ask for all of us to recognize our board members this evening. This month is Board Appreciation Month, and we are celebrating our school boards across the state of South Carolina. We appreciate all that they do. For those of you who don't know, it's not an easy job. It takes a lot of time. There's a lot of things they have to learn, a lot of training they have to go to, and they spend countless hours working on determining what types of policies are going to be best to govern our school district. They lay the framework from which we operate. And I just want to say to our board members this evening, we appreciate all that you do for the children and for our school system. And you're to be commended, and I mean that because I realize it's not easy. One thing about it, we all want what's best. Sometimes we may have philosophical differences, but at the end of the day, what we want is what's best for our children in Marlboro County. So the gifts that you have before you this evening are from our schools, our children, our staff, and from the district. And so I'm going to ask everybody to join me in thanking our school board members. And I'm going to encourage everyone to thank them all month through. Just like people celebrate their birthdays for the entire month, we're going to celebrate our board for the entire month. I'd like to share that, commend one of our teachers, Miss Ashley Taylor. Ashley has received a grant in the amount of $1,981 to cover the cost of books for the teachers and students at her school, and they're going to be doing an outreach project entitled Developing the Child for the 21st Century. They're going to be working on things that they can do in this project to help our students be successful. Again, this is from the Center of Excellence at Francis Marion, and I just want to commend Ms. Taylor for applying for that, and so kudos to her. In addition to that, the school board's insurance trust, SCISBIT, awards grants every year to districts that are able to reduce their workman's comp claims. Because when you reduce them, our premiums go down, and it's a savings to our district. And I want to commend HR and Dr. Cobb and Lisa Bailey for what they've done in this area. We've been awarded for this year a grant of $11,482.78, and we're going to be using this money to purchase 8 AEDs, and we need those. We already have some in our schools, but they are old. So we will be purchasing 8 new ones so we can have 2 in each school. Because we need them during the school day as well as after school. And for those who don't know that terminology, that's the defibrillators. And so we need those to make sure we can keep everyone safe. In addition to that, I'd like to share that our district has been selected to participate in a $20 million federal grant. And this is through the Council of Competitiveness and Transform SC. We got the call on yesterday, and I was
Thrilled.
Yeah, just really excited about it. This grant will focus on preparing middle and high school students for college. And so as participants in this grant, our high school principal, and an academic coach and district level person will participate in quarterly state meetings. The high school principal will participate in a leadership academy and work with a principal leadership coach. The academic coach will also participate in training and work with not only the high school, but also with our feeder schools. So they will work with the middle schools as well. And success with this grant means that it will be funded again at the end of the 5-year period. And the representative from SC Competes expressed that they wanted to include Marlboro County because the leadership and work happening in our district. And so I want you to know people are paying attention to what we do in Marlboro County, and I'm happy about that. Thank you. We have just ended January 14th. We will end the second 9 weeks, and we will be hosting our honors programs for our students. And I would encourage everyone to take a look at each school's website, and we invite you to come out and participate. Come out and celebrate our students' academic achievement. Report cards will be going out on the 22nd of this month on our spelling bee. This is very important. If you haven't been able to come out to our spelling bee in the past, you really need to come. You'd be in for a treat. We have great spellers in Marlboro County. We have scheduled January 27th at 6 p.m. at the Civic Center. That will be our district spelling bee.
What time?
At 6. It's going to be at 6 at the Civic Center. That's on the 27th of January. Our next district strategic planning meeting is scheduled for Monday, January 25th, and we encourage all board members to participate if your schedules will permit. Tomorrow, due to final exams at Marlboro County High School, we will not observe an early dismissal tomorrow because at the high school, we're getting to the end of the semester, so our kids will be taking exams. Also want to mention that, and I'm so proud of this, our arts departments have decided that they want to host an art show April 15th. So please stay tuned for other information regarding that. And the last thing that I'd like to share.
Just want to interject.
Yes,
if there
ma'am.
is a need for easels, anyone that has some easels they could share, that would be a wonderful thing for the art show.
Yes, ma'am. And we purchased a few. Every time we are anywhere and we see them, we purchase them because they're hard to come by, and we do need more. Okay, great. And the last thing I want to share is, as you all know, safety is a #1 priority for our district, and to help ensure that our high school parking lot for our students, that we have closer supervision out there, we have employed part-time campus monitors, and they're only for that parking lot. And I reiterate that. They're not to be monitoring inside the school, they're for the parking lot. And that way, we can have an extra layer of supervision, and the campus monitors will be in that back parking lot all day. And if you go out there tonight, they're out there now. Because we have a lot of activities here in the evening at the high school, and we need supervision in that parking lot, not only for our students, but anyone who's coming for after-school activities, as well as our bus drivers, because a lot of them come in the morning, it's dark, and when they bring their buses back in the evening, it's dark. So that way we have campus monitors. We have one that will be at the gate and one that patrols within side. And that way, because again, we don't want our kids to have accidents. And I did meet with the students here at the high school along with the high school administration on last week. And I'm going to tell you, kids really know how to tell you the right way. I had a couple of come up and say, Dr. Tiller, one young lady, she said, I'm so glad we're doing this. She said, you know why? She said, that Jeep I have, it's got to last me all through college. She said, and I've been afraid that somebody might back out and hit my car. And so anyway, we're started this on last Wednesday, and so far things are going well. Thank you, Ms. Parsons.
Thank you. All right, we need an executive session for approval of elections and resignations and approval of high school petitions. Would someone
So
please-
moved, Madam Chairman.
Is there a second? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, please raise your right hand. We're going to executive session.
So moved, Madam Chairman.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. And I presume that's unanimous. You with us, Millie? Okay. No action was taken, no decision was made. And Dr. Cobb.
Madam Chair, board members, we have, the administration recommends approval of one election.
Madam Chairman, I move we accept the one election.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion's carried unanimously. Ms. Battle?
We ask that you approve 7 high school petitions.
Madam Chairman, I move we accept 7 high school petitions.
Second?
Okay, and this is the end. This is the last of the high school petitions.
okay.
It's over now.
Well, I'm glad for them.
And,
Thank you.
Well, that's nice. We've gotten 7 at the end.
Yes.
All in favor, please raise your right hand.
Madam Chair,
Go for it, Mr. Coachman.
make a motion that we adjourn this meeting.
Second?